Hey everybody, this is a quick layout of a trip. I keep getting requests on the Cascade Sierra route, and I'll do a series of videos. It'll be a separate playlist, but I'm just going to do a quick rundown on the route, and then there are variations off the route because it's a paved route mainly from uh, the Adventure Cycle Association puts together. It's a paved route all the way down, and I did variations that were some gravel and some smaller roads to avoid some sections that I didn't care for and heard bad things about. So, in a nutshell, my main section that I enjoy the most is everything from Hood River, Columbia River Gorge, south. And I'm really only going to talk about that section just because it's my favorite. I think there's too much traffic in the Washington section, and it's a lot of zigzagging. So you can watch other videos that have a full route uh, description on that, but this is from Columbia River Gorge South. So I crossed the bridge at Hood River, and you have to hitchhike across that if you have a bike. And otherwise get an Uber, which is difficult. There's hardly any Uber there in Hood River. So Hood River up to Government Camp. I did that in an overnighter just because it's all uphill. Government Camp, Highway 35, logging trucks. And I'm going to say this now, logging trucks all the way down this route. And even if you get off on some of the U.S. Forest Service routes, you're going to get a logging truck or two there as well. But mainly this is the paved, what I call the artery of the Cascade Sierra. So we're up at Government Camp, and then we take Highway 26 down. Now, real important here is I'll never do this again. I did it all the way down to Madras, through Warm Springs Canyon and the Deschutes, and then over to Bend, down to Bend. I don't recommend that. It's all desert, farmlands, and you got to drop down about 1,500 feet into the gorge, the Deschutes, and then back up to Madras, and then down to Bend. And to me, it's just not really that scenic, and it's pretty rough going down and up. So I recommend when you're still up high, up here near Government Camp, just after you leave Government Camp and you're shooting down the hills in the forest on that paved 26, there is what's called Skyline Snow Park on the right-hand side, just a few miles south. And I'm going to point it out here if I can. If not, it's Skyline Snow Park. That's a U.S. Forest Service road that cuts down. It's called 42, and I'll list that in the description down below. That goes to 46 U.S. Road, U.S. Forest Road, and then to Detroit Reservoir. And then from Detroit Reservoir, you're on 20 down to Bend. And not much of a shoulder, but you're going downhill, and that goes really fast. So I recommend taking that alternate route off of that main drag on 26 down through that Indian Reservation, Warm Springs Indian Reservation, and stay up high and traverse to Detroit Reservoir. I think that's the most important part of that route. There's lots of variations, like I said, from there, if you don't want to drop down into Bend. If you drop down into Bend, it's Highway 97 from Bend all the way down through Tumult. I recommend going up and heading up to Crater Lake. There's various routes off to Crater Lake to your west, and I'll put that in the description as well. If not, you can shoot on down to the border, Oregon-California border near Mount Shasta. And that's another really important detour that I like. And this is going to be my second favorite detour. And then there'll be more that I list in the playlist later. But that's before you get to Mount Shasta on 97 and Weed and I-5 and all that traffic. You can cut across Military Pass Road. And you can find that Military Pass Road cuts off south off of 97, and you can avoid Mount Shasta and all that, or you can backtrack to Mount Shasta on 89, but you're going to cut across Military Pass Road to Highway 89, and that's going to take you all the way down to Tahoe through Mount Lassen. If Mount Lassen Park is open, I suggest going over Mount Shasta. Everybody has to go slow. It's a national park. It's a curvy road, uphill, some good altitude there if you like altitude. Steep, windy, but really nice because everyone has to go slow and there's no logging trucks. Quick note on logging trucks. I always hear them coming from behind. You can't help it. And if I hear them from a distance, which is pretty normal, I bail off the road slowly because it's always real slippery. There's a lot of gravel on the road. And they also gravel the roads in the winter, so it's volcanic rubble. So be careful. And I just get into a routine where I'm bailing off the road every time I hear logging trucks. They come in twos, sometimes three, mainly twos. So you hear them coming, and then you see them coming back from wherever they dropped the logs. If you were nice enough to get over, they'll wave at you. You know, they appreciate that. There's no shoulder, so you really can't be the guy who's, you know, like wants to demand the road. There's a lot of that in California, you know, and as a adventure cyclist or somebody carrying a heavy load touring, you just really got to watch that with the logging trucks. Really cool though, once you get into that groove. Yeah, it's a little frustrating. They're coming and going, but they're gone after 3:30 in the afternoon. You get up in that Sierra route, you get, you know, some work traffic coming and going, but it's not a lot. You're up on the Sierra routes, and you're trying to stay on the spine of the Sierra as much as you can. I would recommend looking up what roads are open for U.S. Forest Service detours that I speak of in these future videos. But okay, logging trucks, you're off and running. Food, a lot of little markets, not a lot of big grocery stores. Motels and hotels are expensive. Small towns. There are no big towns. And yeah, as far as campgrounds, $20 a night to $28 a night for U.S. Forest Service campground with no showers or anything, just water. And so I think it's expensive as far as campgrounds go. So lots of stealth camping opportunities. And then what I'll do is I'll stealth camp for a few nights and then stay in a RV park with showers and Wi-Fi, or a motel, hotel, and do laundry and all that and continue on. Once you're in Tahoe, it's a different story, a lot more traffic again. From Tahoe, I get off 89 and I shoot down to 395 at Reno and continue down the Eastern Sierra. That's the main route for me. You can go as far as Lone Pine, and then you're kind of getting down in Southern California where it's not as bike friendly. So that's kind of the end of the route for me. A lot of people continue on and go all the way to South America. But that's the main Cascade Sierra description for me. And again, you know, you got the coastal route, which is camping less expensive, but just more people. You know, north-south, south-north, either way. Same with the Cascade Sierra. Less people. I prefer it. Once I did it solo for my first time, and I got hooked on it. I did it 3 times, and then I've done the Eastern Sierra section this last summer, 2024, and then 2023 as well, and love it. So I'm going to go into some other videos that go into more detail later on the sections, and thanks for watching.